right there, buddy?
No, Will. No, I don't know. No.
Don't feel like watching movies, so I'll watch people guess them instead. I don't know how it goes, I think it starts with your show.
Hey guys, welcome to the Valleycast. Last week, Will, let me tell you a little something here. We got Will Haynes on the show, guys. It's an honor. It's an honor to have you, Will.
It is an honor to have me, usually.
It is an honor to have you. It's an honor to have you and to hold you.
Yes.
And so, last weekend, I was sick as fuck, Will. I got sick real fast, real hard.
That's true.
It fucked me up, dude. Something fucked me up. Some kind of lung thing, some kind of respiratory thing. And it got me, and that's it. I didn't have a runny nose. I didn't have a sore throat. And I know what you're thinking. COVID
2. You have COVID
2. And I didn't even like the first one. And here I am going to see COVID 2 like a big dumb consumer fuck.
You did go see COVID 1 like February 2020 before people even knew.
Before people knew, I might have had it.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's no way to know. But I was at
there was no way to tell.
I was on a Valleyfolk tour. And I couldn't even I had to do the show. Yeah, I was sick and I did the show, our live show, our scripted sketches and shit.
Yeah, but that was before we really knew. It was just like, oh, Steve's kind of.
Well, I just felt that was the sickest I'd ever been in my life. I was crying in the shower.
I think you were in San Francisco at the time too, right?
Or Colorado or something. I can't remember.
Somewhere, yeah. But you guys were on tour,
or we just got back from Colorado or something. I can't remember. But
and look at you now. So if there's a new viral disease that's going to come out because it's an election year, I'm pretty sure you just got it.
Will, I'm not going to make it through this one.
You're going to pass.
This is the one that's going to pass me. This one's the one that's going to get me, Will.
I actually did write down a list of things in your apartment that I think should be inherited to me because you don't have children.
I'd like to see that list.
Number 1, Ghostbusters.
The Proton Pack?
The Proton Pack. I'm eyeing that every time I come in your house.
What are you going to do with that? You're going to put it in the back of your car? You're going to put it in the back of your car and it's going to break. Uh-oh. We got testicle difficulties over here. Will's frozen.
Hello.
Oh.
Back. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to take your Proton Pack. I'm just going to put it on my wall. And everybody's going to be like, oh, is that from Steve? No. But did Steve die recently? Yes.
Why do you have that? He gave it to me.
It is Will.
Would you wear it to the club?
I would. I actually have been telling people I want to do a video or something where I go to the club wearing my Starfleet uniform. I guarantee you I can pull girls' numbers. I'm that in my bag right now. And hot girls, too. I'm one of the few men on Earth that can pull this off.
You should go in your Starfleet uniform and wear the Proton Pack also.
And the Proton Pack at the same time.
People are going to think, oh, they're filming Love on the Spectrum in here.
Love on the People really like that show.
I fucking love it. Will. I love it.
It is a little messed up that we treat special people as if they're a different species. It's got to be offensive. If you're like a special person, you're like, I'm human. I want to date other humans. And people are like, ooh.
But there is a simplicity.
You're not human.
There's a simplicity. Their brains are different.
Same thing with midgets as well. I'm sorry, we can't. Little people.
Little people, their brains are different.
Like people act like little people. I'm like, I'm not about to. But people act like little people are a different species.
Well, it's because we can't help but, kids are bullies and they're messed up and they're assholes and they bully people. When you're a kid and you're introduced to someone with Down syndrome for the first time. You're like, there's something different about this, but I can't tell yet. And then you're like, hey, man, how you doing? And then the conversation is like, oh, something's different here.
Yeah.
and you don't know what, and then finally some adult tells you or something. And I think that either you go like, oh, okay, well, we're going to be kinder to that person. Or you go, oh man, now we're going to bully him.
Yeah.
And I think those feelings extend into the adulthood of a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, either we're going to be like, oh, let's treat this person with respect and treat them the way that we want to be treated. But then there's some people that are like, look at this fucking right. You know, the R word.
Yeah. I always see
which
go
is
viral
back, by the way. The R word's back.
The R word is definitely back. Me and John have been laughing so hard because I've been like, when we were kids in the 2000s, it wasn't a bad word.
It was like saying the.
It was like saying the. And now we look back. I showed John the Quantum Leap.
Wait, you showed John? Oh, dude. Classic episode of TV.
And like, it's because at the time, and then he pointed out the Black Eyed Peas, "Let's Get Retarded" in here.
Yeah, that was what it was. Dude, my friend just brought that up the other day. He's like, if we cover that song, do we do the original version or do we do the...
And I think John told me that was the first song they recorded or something like that.
Yeah,
nuts.
And they thought that was fine.
That's what we used to say in the 2000s. Not me, because I was a kid who never cursed or said anything.
But now you realize why it was hard for us to remove it from our vocabulary.
Yeah.
Because no one had ever told us not to say it. And the thing was like, I wasn't using it, you know, like, I wasn't calling people with Down syndrome that. I wasn't calling people with Down syndrome that.
It is almost as if it was a different word.
Yeah. All right,
let's talk. When the Black Eyed Peas say, "Let's get retarded in here," it's as if they were saying, "Let's have fun tonight." That's legit what it meant.
Yeah, or like, "Let's get crazy" or something. I don't know what they meant by it.
No, yeah, the 2000s was bad, and I feel like in a way they're trying to bring it back. Like they tried to bring edgy humor back, but no, it'll never be how it once was.
No, it will not, and I think that's fine.
Oh yeah, that's for the best.
Do you think the Black Eyed Peas perform that version in their live shows?
Now, okay, that song probably came out in the 2000s, right? Like,
yeah.
And then by the 2009, Obama got elected. How do you go from the Black Eyed, from "Let's Get Retarded" in here to doing Obama's personal song like "WILL.I.AM" did?
You kind of sound a little bit like a robot right now. All of that came through like Obama. Obama. I heard Obama.
How did "WILL.I.AM" go from that song to making Obama's personal "Yes We Can" theme song that was used during the election and in the White House? It was gonna make it that dream. Yes, we can. They say no, we can't, but we say yes, we can. It was a big
what year
deal.
was that?
In less than 10 years.
What year was
2009.
that? 2009. So do you think
2009 was the year of the Obama song?
In 2009, do you think someone went to Obama and they were like, "Mr. President, we with the Black Eyed Peas. You like the Black Eyed Peas? Oh yes, I love the Black Eyed Peas. I love them. and I love them. Let's get retarded. Yes, that's the one." Mr. President, before they write this song for you, though, we need you to know that they did write a version, the original version of "Let's Get It Started." Do you what 2009?
What was the regular version?
And then what if he say? And what if they?
Do they have the N word in there?
What if they told him the R word version, and then he was like, "Oh, that's fine."
Well, people forget one of Obama's biggest controversies was when he went on Jay Leno. Do you remember?
No, what happened? He punched Jay Leno. He went on Jay Leno.
Like everybody else wanted to.
Trey Story, I'm gonna punch your chin.
I think he was like, I think Jay Leno was talking about something Obama had did. Like he was like, "Oh wow, you ran pretty well," and he was like, "Yeah, it was more like Special Olympics." And
Obama said that.
He really said that. He really said that.
That's okay. I think that's okay. That's okay.
You said that on Jay Leno?
Yeah, but nobody said shit, right? Like nobody said shit about it. Or was there
No,
controversy?
it was a huge controversy, but only big fans like me remember. Republicans, like, they went after everything else. They went after Tansu. They went after Michelle Obama. Yeah, you don't remember when he said Special Olympics? But they're like, yeah, that was funny.
But that's like
'Cause
nothing compared to the shit Trump has said. Like not
nothing
even a little bit.
not even a little bit. Day one, they're
It
not
doesn't
bringing their
touch me.
best.
Yeah, day one, even day zero, day -5. Didn't he say grab her by the pussy while he was?
Yeah, he said when you're a star, they let you do it. He said I moved on her like a bitch. Classic. This motherfucker was wilding. And that was like 2005. Like Trump was like, wow, you can imagine like 60-year-old Trump was like, no consequences. Just say what you want.
Dude,
Just
it's already a free for all. It's already a free for all. Like say whatever the fuck you want. And maybe the court of public opinion will come for you. But for the most part, are you a good person? Yeah. Was it a mistake? Did you say it in a moment of a lack of clarity or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just words. It's just words.
Do you remember how we used to love playing with like how Mac computers, you can type it into anything on a Mac computer and it will say it out loud?
Oh, yeah. Text to speech.
Text to speech. You and I was doing that back in high school too. Like I was in the 2010s, I was using text to speech. And then when I got on SourceFed, you used to do it too. And you were like, I've been doing this for like, yeah. Can you imagine if we had access to the technology we have now? Like I could just use somebody's voice.
The people are using it like crazy, huh?
Yeah. And for
are people using it for evil shit?
I haven't seen any huge negative repercussions to it. Yeah.
Other than people going like it's scary.
Yeah, you see people post like, yeah, this is gonna be scary someday, but I'm like, today's the day to use it. And
what do you want to use? You want to have Obama say some shit?
Yeah, I've already done it. I've used it to put my voice. I recorded myself saying stuff, and then
how does that sound?
It was good. You kind of have to do an impression of the person. If you do it, you can't just like talk like yourself, and then it will do it, but it won't sound like the person. But when you do impressions of Obama and then you add the Obama filter, it's like,
so you kind of have to pretend. You kind of have to pretend to be that person. You have to do a little bit of an impression.
Yeah, and it'll pick up on that and it will nail it perfectly.
Oh man, but
I'm surprised you haven't had fun with that yet.
Well, none of it is like really easy to get access to. Like it was not as easy as going to a website and just typing words into a thing and hitting run. Like nowadays you have to like download software, buy some shit, free trial shit, sign up for a monthly fucking subscription. Everything's a monthly subscription now. Remember back in the day we used to be able to like edit movies on our phones and shit. And now if you want to do that, you have to pay like $10 a month for like CapCut.
Yes. I think sometimes the subscription service is the new it. And like I'm really proud of like College Humor, who is Dropout now, who's able to start their own comedy subscription service. Like I saw they had Paula Tompkins on there, they had Pete Holmes. In the episodes that John was looking at, John and his girlfriend watched Dropout for real. Like they look at damn near every episode.
Have you seen what Connor O'Malley is up to? Do you know who Connor O'Malley is?
Who's that?
Write that name down or I'll send it to you. You should check out what he's doing. I really love what he's doing. He's a weirdo. He's doing like Tim Heidecker kind of like. Do you know who Tim Robinson is?
No.
Like I Think You Should Leave. Have you heard of the sketch comedy show I Think You Should Leave?
No.
Okay. Well, these are all really weird alt comedians that are doing like weird Tim and Eric Andre style shit, alt comedy. And this Connor O'Malley guy is really tickling my funny bone.
Oh, yeah?
And what he's doing is weird shit. Like he went on Seth Meyers and he's like, I only watch a few minutes of these shows on TikTok. And Seth Meyers is like, you only watch this shit on TikTok? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, you don't even watch the whole episodes? He's like, no, I just watch the clips on TikTok. He's like, what, you don't have time to watch the episode? And he goes, you don't give a fuck. and then he tells the host, you don't give a fuck. Like he asked him the question. He's like, you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And then while they're laughing at you don't give a fuck, Connor O'Malley turns to the audience and goes, yes, you. And nobody's like asking questions. Like he's a little bit of a wild card.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
miss
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I miss when people were like a wild card.
If anything, you've become more subdued now. It's a little weird.
Yeah, because I'm sad and I'm sick of the world and I've been beaten down and I've lived through too many failures of companies and I'm broken.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for real. Like to have this success, consistent success and money, you can't do what I do, which is throw it away at any opportunity. Um, I'm not nice to people who are rich and famous. If somebody's rich or somebody's famous, I'm not gonna be nice to them. But to my
I
friends,
just like to
it's
know
so
how they
funny.
got their riches. I'd like to know how they got their riches, and then I decide how to treat them.
I better watch what I say though on any video I am. Sometimes my dad will watch full podcasts I say, and my dad like hates everything I've ever said to you, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like
Every parent is they're I was gonna say not unfazed. They're not unfazed by the things their kids say.
Yeah,
Every parent is like, oh, why do you say? My mom finally got to the point where she was like, I can't stop this weird shit from saying things about cum, so I'm just gonna love him for who he is.
Yeah. I guess that's gotta be really weird, but yeah. Like, so like podcasts that I've done with you, like we did one in 2020, and my dad has like brought it up for years.
He'll never let you live it down.
Years. And like I told you last time, I created.
What did you say that pissed him off?
I said that he was hands off. I said that my parents are hands off. Like they were. My parents legit were hands off because they knew that I was not a kid, and there was no disciplining to do with me. So my parents really. I remember one time I was leaving the house in like 11th grade at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. before the sun came up. So like 5 a.m. Me and my best friend were walking out the house, and my mom was like, "All right, cool, whatever." And it was because he's probably not going to do anything. Didn't even ask me where I was going. But yeah, my dad did not like that.
Really?
And my thing with my dad,
because parents want to be seen as perfect, they raise their kids the best they could. But the truth is that there's a lot of parents out there that are just like, oh, I can't do this. Oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to raise this fucking kid.
Yeah, and the thing is, with my dad being mad about the stuff I say on podcasts and specifically the credit class thing, it's like, I'm a comedian, right? I've gotten everywhere I've gotten in my life from being funny.
It's like he doesn't want you to be a comedian.
Yeah.
Or he wants you to be a comedian that like, he wants you to be like Tim Allen.
He wants me to be like serious.
He wants you to go do TED Talks.
Yeah, definitely. He's always told me to be a motivational speaker. And I'm like, I'm at the point where I can't not be funny. It's like I've tried to not be funny and people are laughing.
How does your dad feel about the Black Eyed Peas?
Let's get restarted in here.
Dude, let's talk a little bit about Michael Jackson really quick, because I think it's time.
Yeah. I
saw a clip today from 1996. You've probably seen this clip. And think about Michael Jackson in 1996.
This is white Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Almost fully transitioned to a white man at this point.
Yeah.
But there was a concert in Seoul, and he was on his like fucking crane. You've seen this. Michael Jackson's on his fucking crane, singing his Earth song. What about bees? What about rocks? What about leaves? What about birds? What about clouds? What about
It's pretty good. I mean, you're those are definitely on the list when they were writing the song, and they didn't put bees in.
I know, right?
They could have though.
But he's up on his crane.
Daytime or nighttime?
It's an indoor concert.
Uh-oh.
And so he's on his crane, and it does that thing where it goes over the audience and it's blowing wind on him, and his shirt's all up, and he's like, what about trees and what about forest?
Yeah.
And this fucking guy climbs up on it. Mm-hmm. Have you seen this clip, Will?
I believe so. Yeah. And then he's holding on to him for dear life.
He's holding on for dear life.
Continuing to sing while also clinging on to this guy so this motherfucker doesn't fall off and die.
Yeah, exactly. So here, I'll play this. I'll play this clip for people who have no idea what we're talking about.
How can they possibly not know? No, a lot of people don't.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's just helps with a little bit of context. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, uh-huh. This is so good.
And this is a great song, by the way.
It's more than a song because, it is more than a song.
You know what's interesting is like, you could. Oh, here he goes. Okay, so here's this guy. Like, where did he fucking?
Crazy motherfucker.
It looked like he flew into his look. Look at how high up the fucking crane is.
I would never.
How did he get on there? It looks like he flew up onto it. Look. Oh, and Michael's like, holy shit!
Michael is a person who does not like to be touched.
Definitely not. But look at him. He's holding this guy, and he's like, put your hands down. You're gonna fall, motherfucker.
Yeah.
But he's still singing, consummate professional. And this
is
guy's
he doing
probably
the fist?
This guy. He's probably
in heaven.
In heaven. Look at this screenshot. This guy forever will have this.
Nuts.
Yeah, this is like huge, right? This is a big deal.
Michael is pissed.
He's probably pissed. But he's also thinking about that guy's safety for sure.
He's 100% thinking about the guy's safety, like holding on to him for dear life. These new people today would be like, if this motherfucker falls, he falls.
Yeah, they're like, that guy deserves it.
Michael Jackson has stopped a concert because a bug was on the floor.
This bug doesn't.
Have you seen that clip?
No, that's real?
That's real.
All right, hold on. So anyway, this guy's having the ride of his life. Does not realize the second they and this guy's riding this thing. It's like, I think this is like a fucking 2-minute clip of this guy flying around.
The director of the show is like, fuck, drop the crane, lower the crane.
He's screaming into the microphone, get him down! And he's like, Michael wants to be up on get him down now!
Yeah, my favorite thing is when the director of the live show actually has to do something.
I know, right? Because by this point, everything's automated, right?
Yeah, they're like camera 3, camera 2, camera 1.
This guy's like, this guy's like, I'm gonna go backstage. I'm part of the show now.
You're about to go to jail.
You're gonna get tackled by 6 fucking security guards the second it comes. Look at that.
See how he's holding his stomach right there?
These
motherfuckers are mad.
These are Michael's like personal fucking bodyguards, probably. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And look at these police officers rip him off. Look. Yeah. Get the fuck off of this. Look at this guy. That guy's face. Dude, that guy's face.
Wow, crazy. He's like, I'm not gonna let go of Michael. This is crazy.
Look at this guy's fucking, yeah, he's not letting go.
He's pulling as hard as he can.
This guy's earpiece came out.
And Michael Jackson, like, I still gotta keep performing.
Yeah. And everyone, all the choir's like, holy shit, what's about to happen? Holy shit.
That is
Anyway,
nuts.
I was thinking about that. I saw that clip today and I was like, damn, that shit's crazy. Like, that must, like, what was going through that guy's head, you think? Like, people would run up on stage and try to hug him all the time.
But the fact that he wouldn't let go once they got to the bottom is making it seem like it's a manic moment. Like,
yeah, maybe he lost his mind.
And you know, my favorite artist is Sade, and she has this song. It's like, I will be your friend until the end of time. And when I listen to that, I'm like, wow, Sade is like really speaking to me. And when she performed it live, she says, I will really be your friend. I truly will. No, you're not. I love you.
That's the earliest form of parasocial relationship building.
Yeah, and it's really good. But like with Michael Jackson, like that motherfucker really thought that he's friends with Michael Jackson. You're not gonna get off you just violated his personal privacy. He's not gonna take you backstage and take you to Never Neverland.
He might inquire how he's doing, if he's okay, or so, I don't know. But that's that.
He's definitely going to make sure that guy's okay. So see how he held him from the stomach too. And remember, Michael Jackson was the type of person that did not like to be touched. Like, so you are a crazy sweaty fan who's also ruining his performance.
Oh yeah. On a big moment of that song.
Of the entire concert. I'm sure to him who was on his environment thing, like this is the apex of Michael Jackson and you're stealing it from all of these people. Like, we're not about to be friends after this.
That guy was taken outside and shot.
This is like Korea. This is North Korea.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
But speaking of Michael Jackson, I was at your house like a week ago and I brought my coach, Michael Flores. And you met him once before at my party. that I had like a year ago.
A nice, energetic young fellow.
So I don't know how to explain this to you, but that's not that he's not always like that, but he's not usually like that.
He let his cool down.
He let his cool down, and
so
like
that he could nerd out and have a great time.
It was such an amazing experience for me because it's not like he's always acting cool.
No, he's just a cool guy.
But he is a really cool guy, and he's around tough guys all the time.
Yeah.
But he got to your house, and I feel he's often like kind of nervous sometimes when he goes to a new person's house. Not nervous, but he's kind of like timid, like quiet. But he got to your house, he felt so comfortable. Like once you guys started playing Rock Band, like you saw a side of him like that a lot of people don't. Like he was so happy. Like
he let his guard down. He didn't have to be like
guard down.
He's like, are there hot women around? Are there like muscly boys that I could like train? Yeah. No? All right, let's get nerdy and laugh.
Yeah, let's get nerdy. And like, because he's taken boxing seriously his whole life. Like, you know,
it's his life.
I was like, you wouldn't have hung out with us in 2012 because we're nerds and virgins. And he was like, I wasn't hanging out with anybody in 2012. All he was doing was boxing. So for the first time in his life, he was hanging out with the nerds, virgins, and losers. And then you turned on Michael Jackson, Captain EO. He's from East LA. And he never heard of Captain EO his whole life. He's Filipino. And you've never heard of Captain EO? So once... I actually asked you to put on Captain EO like 2 weeks before.
Yeah, you were asking me about it. And I was like, I gotta prep it.
Because I always knew what Captain EO was because I'm black. But I'd never been because I'm from the Bay Area and it's only in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Up until like 1990 something. So I saw it for the first time in 2018. That shit had me so happy when you showed it to me. So I was like, oh yeah, I didn't expect him to come. My coach lost his shit to Captain EO.
It's so good. It's so good.
I mean, I guess imagine not knowing that existed.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And listen, the discourse around Michael Jackson right now is like, you know, either you hate him or you love him. And it is a sensitive thing. And we talk about it sometimes, but it's like nothing will take away the love I have for Michael Jackson. Before all of the allegations, before all the shit, you know, I grew up. I grew up with him. That was like my pop star hero. And then you had him in a Star Wars. You were like, dude, you change after that because you're a nerd. You're like,
well, you said he really thought he was in Star Wars. He really thought. And as a huge Michael Jackson fan, you could tell he was acting. Because he's acted in other stuff, and he'll like bring it a little. All right, baby, let's see what we can do.
No,
but
he brought it.
He brought it.
He's like, we're gonna be drummed out of the core if we don't do our best. I'm like, damn, dude, he's really giving it up there.
He's literally giving his best performance, and so my coach so you got like 10 minutes of regular movie and dialogue and action sequence, and then at that like 3/4 point. The music cuts on and they start dancing.
It's suddenly the best Michael Jackson music video ever.
It's suddenly the best Michael Jackson music video forever. He starts pointing at people and they stop being like Borg-like monsters and they turn to people. My coach loses it. He gets up in front of the TV screen. He starts shadow boxing.
Yeah, like
a little kid at the movie theater.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, tell me.
He told me later, we went to the burrito spot after. He was like, man, it took me everything in my power to sit down and stop.
No way. He could have got, dude,
You're in the right place.
You were in the perfect place.
I'd be like, that wouldn't be the weirdest thing that I've seen somebody get up and do.
Not at my place.
Steve's house.
Dude, I was watching clips of us in that same spot where we were playing Rock Band last week.
Yeah,
dancing, doing our pizza apocalypse, like half hour.
I've done more than that,
right? Like people have done crazy shit in that spot.
Yeah. So I always tell my friend John that his superpowers is making people want to be friends. Like there's so many people we like paid to meet and be friends with me for people be like, and John ended up doing the production for them. Like Timothy Delgado, we paid Timothy Delgado to eat food with me. Eat Thai food, and he's been John's production people for him ever since.
Oh, that's awesome.
You have a similar superpower as the people who want to be friends with you. But witnessing that at your house the other night, I realized it's like you can help people be themselves. You did that with me. You
To
helped
come
me
out of their
realize,
shell. Yeah.
yeah, it's okay to just be you. You know?
It's weird that, like, I remember being like a young man in school and meeting one of my best friends that I still am friends with to this day. His name is Jeff. And we met in 4th grade or something. And I remember meeting him and being like, this guy's like a weirdo like me, kind of. I could just tell. I don't know how, but I could just tell. But he was so quiet and he was like not talking to me and he looked real nervous. And for some reason in my brain, I was like, my purpose is to get this guy to come out of his shell and be like the best version of himself he could possibly be.
Yeah.
And I don't know, dude. So ever since I was like a kid, I always felt like I could pick out the people who were like hiding inside themselves.
Yes.
And struggling with that and struggling with which version to show people. And I've always been like, I gotta get because I see the potential in people, you know?
Yeah,
I see the potential to be like a really funny person or a creative person or a nice person or whatever. And it's like, don't be afraid.
You did that with me. You did that with me, but I wasn't in 4th grade. I was 21.
Yeah, but we felt like we were in 4th grade.
Definitely felt like it. Yeah, you definitely have the ability to see that someone is shy and maybe doesn't want to be.
Or they're afraid or uncomfortable and they're like, I don't know what to say around these people. I don't know what to do around these people. And I'll just fucking put my arm around you and go, this guy did 9/11. And he's like, oh God, sweating. Everyone's looking like, oh, you did that. And it's like, oh shit, I don't want anyone to look at me right now.
Yeah. But in the nicest way possible. I think you could tell that you can do it in a way that they like it. And like I said, for me, after we met in the mall after we hung out accidentally in the mall that day, I was like, oh, it's okay for me to be myself all the time. And I had to practice it a little bit at a time, until now you see I can't even imagine being inside of my own head anymore, you know?
And you fulfilled a part of me that needed a friend that could listen and then like, you know, be weird with me.
Yeah, I know.
Because I needed people to be weird with me. Yeah. People.
Weirdly,
some people get close and then they go like, maybe this guy's a little too weird for me.
Yeah.
So the people that are like, I can tell are like as kind of weird as I am are the ones that I'm like, okay, let's stick together because we can help each other out. I can help you come out of your shell, but and then you could be weird with me.
And I'm realizing I'm kind of an asshole because I'm the one that maybe even on more than one occasion has been like, Steve, why is this person here? They need to go. There was this girl that you brought into the friend group that you were treating her like she was one of our best friends. And I remember I was like, Steve, who the fuck is this girl? And you were like, oh, I met her at this karaoke or something. And you were like, she's nice. And I was like, but now I understand that's me being an asshole. I'm like, Steve probably sees that this girl has potential to be an open person, but she was just weird. But no, it was so funny because she was from out of town and she said a lot. It took a while to get her. I talked to her for at least 45 minutes to get her to open up. And after she opened up to me, she was like, she's from Iowa or something, she's from the Midwest. And she was like, so are the Bloods and Crips a real problem out here?
Oh, shit.
Everything not to laugh. Like, oh my God.
Holy shit.
I wanted to laugh so bad, but she was serious.
That's like the less funny version of me asking you if black people read Mad Magazine.
I was like, yes, it is real, but the area you hang out in, you're never gonna encounter them. Like you hang out in the valley.
That person had never talked to a black person one-on-one before.
She was like, here's my chance.
Dude, when we hung out at the mall that one time, was that when I told you that you could like yell out and no one will give a shit? That was the same trip?
Yes. Yeah.
That's a
This was
good
a
piece of
while ago.
information I tell people when they're like stuck inside their shell. It's the
Yeah,
same thing
the
with
world
people
is
who are
different
scared to
now.
go to the gym and shit, like are scared to be at the
Yes.
gym because they're like, people are gonna look at me and see my fat ass or whatever. And it's like, dude, no one gives a shit about you. Like,
Yeah.
no one's looking at you.
Basically what you had said was you were like, you could just yell and people forget. You were like, and I would say that this was different because this was a pre-social media time where people are now in the malls yelling for video content. This was back in, the days where people used to just do whatever. Now, if you yell in the mall, it's like, oh, there's this influencer trying to make a video. But this is during the days where, no one was pulling out their phone to make crazy shit with content. And when you said it to me, I was like, you're right. And I think that when you're young, when you're 2021, you're at a party or wherever, you think everybody's looking at you. And the truth of the matter is nobody is thinking about
Nobody.
it. Nobody's thinking about
Nobody.
it. And they will immediately forget you. Unless you pull out a gun and shoot them, most of the time, people are not going to remember, oh, he said the wrong day or something, or he typed the wrong, I will remember that. But yeah, it's okay to just be yourself.
It is okay to be yourself. And it also is beneficial to be yourself in a lot of those instances, because when we talk about like going to meet people, like going to the club or going to a bar and people are dancing or whatever, that's like the mating ritual, like the animal mating ritual. Like, let me show you my feathers and let me show you what's going on. And most people are all doing the same shit and they're scared or whatever. But if you go in there and you're like, look at my fucking feathers, bitch, and you don't give a shit about what you look like, suddenly everyone's like, who the fuck is that guy? Yeah. I want to know that motherfucking guy. If you stand out being yourself, it's the best feeling in the world when people want to be your friend after that.
I saw some girl on TikTok say, like, to people who are struggling to like attract other people, you want to come across as the most passionate version of yourself.
Yeah.
They're like, and you just being weird is actually you just being passionate. Of just being weird. And we used to go to the dance floor and just like,
no one else is in there. No one else is in the whole building.
And all the time people would start doing, and to this day, you and me have the other secret superpower. If you and me start dancing, people see how we're dancing and then they start copying how we're dancing.
Yeah. Or they come over and they want to they're like trying not to notice that they're noticing us.
Yeah.
But they're noticing.
Then they're like, oh, wait a second. They're like, I want to do that too. And then they start doing it too. Like, if you and me go to a club or dance floor, we can immediately start. Or if no one is dancing, we can immediately start it. And it's because if you don't care if you're a fool,
dude, even if there isn't music, we'll start dancing.
Even if there is no music. And that is a little bit of marijuana. I'm not going to lie, when I smoke weed, I can hear music in my head.
But even before that, we were smoking marijuana.
We were doing we haven't done that in a while. I guess that's a pandemic and all that. We haven't been to a dance floor.
Well, plus I'm not trying to get laid anymore. I'm already getting laid.
Oh shit, my earphones died. But you're definitely not trying to get laid anymore.
Because that's a big motivator for going out, is like, maybe I'll meet someone. I don't know.
Yeah, like I've noticed within the past year or two that all of my best friends are in a relationship space. Except for Owen, but Owen won't hang out with me anymore.
Owen barely hangs out with me.
I know. But all my friends,
Owen goes through stages in his life, and he's like,
I have to remember his address, and I'm just going to show up.
You should. Yeah. Honestly, you don't even need to go into his apartment. Just walk around the neighborhood, and you'll find him.
No, don't you remember that Owen walks a half a mile to his smoke spot?
Yeah, he does.
I was like, all right. He was like, he was like, want to come up with me when I smoke? I was like, all right. And we just kept walking, went over train tracks. And I'm like, you walk.
Where are you going to smoke? Why aren't you smoking on the walk?
Yeah, right. Fucking crazy ass. But
how does that make you feel? Everyone's in relationships.
I'm unable to, I don't have a wingman. And a lot of my friends are girls. I'd say 50%. I mean, I'd say most of my friends are women. But of the male friends, the good 3 or 4 male friends I have, they're all in a relationship. You're in a relationship. John's in a relationship. Lisa's in a relationship. Jose in a relationship. So
So I have no one to wingman me, go to the bar with me, but the girls are always, my women friends are always like, oh, I'll go with you, I'll wingman you. But I'm like, I can't show up with a girl that looks like I'm there with a woman already.
I know.
Yeah.
And especially if they're super hot, because then you're like, who? This guy came in with this hot girl. This guy's not gonna want to talk to you, know?
To go meet other hot girls.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I've had 2 women, adult women, call me sir this week.
Sir. Was that the first time you've been called sir by someone that you don't know?
And I knew them, yeah, or it was like, yeah, and I'm just like, I'm starting to get old, huh? Like,
you look like a man now.
Yeah, I have a beard.
Do you think you finally look like an adult man?
I think so. You know, I could not grow a beard until 29 years old. So
it looks good.
Last year, this shit came in. So I'm like, oh, wow, that was all I needed.
Are you trying to go, like, you should get like a big giant fucking beard, dude. Just go for it.
You know, so when my beard started growing last year, it was growing out really big. And then I was like, oh, this is getting weird. And I cut it. And now it stopped. And now this is where it just goes to.
Yeah, because there's a period of time in beard growth where it's like filling out in the length it is. It doesn't feel like it's getting longer. But especially if it's like curly, it kind of curls in on itself a little bit. But if you
I gotta comb my shit.
Like pull that shit out, like comb it. Pull it, dude. You gotta fucking put some beard oil in there.
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
your beard has always been good, and it's all lined up right now.
You gotta do it right, dude. You gotta get in there.
Did you line up your own beard?
Yeah, brother.
Damn.
What you do is you just trim this side here, and then the undercarriage, and leave everything else alone.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
This episode was brought to you by
This episode was brought to you by Beard.
By Beard Shave Club.
All right, let's get to the bottom of this Maude Garrett shit.
What's happening with Maude? She's canceled again?
It's nothing.
I thought she was getting canceled again.
She's canceled again. We got to talk about the elephant in the room. What's going on with Maude Garrett?
The Maude drama. The Maude situation is crazy.
No, she's fine. She's fine.
No, she doesn't really have a visa. She can't really be here legally.
Still?
So, yeah. No.
This is all you need is now the cops can get her.
Now they can get her. No, she's not working under her niche. You know, when you have that kind of visa, you have to work under, and I don't think Maude is. And they should investigate her.
Well, she's a domestic terrorist.
Investigate Maude.
Investigate Maude.
No, I actually have looked at a lot of SourceFed clips recently editing something for somebody. I was like, damn, Maude was actually a really good host. Gotta give it to her.
She was great.
And still is.
Yeah. Well, she does, and she interviews like celebrities now.
Yeah.
She does those like sit down press things. Yeah. I never did those. The ones where you sit in the chair and they have the poster behind you. I always did the ones that were like in the, because we were doing like table talk with them.
Yeah. That's like the real professional ones. Do
you remember that Adam Scott one that I did with Phil? Do you remember that?
No. You guys did a table talk?
I did a table talk with Adam Scott and Phil.
Wow.
And it was for the movie Krampus.
Yes. Okay, now I remember this.
And just before the interview, and dude, I was still like, I don't know. It was like during the time when I was like still barely getting better. The medication was like working and shit. And I forgot Adam Scott's name. And you can tell. And he like calls me out on it. And I'm like, how could I possibly forget your name? How? I'm here for press. I'm here for you. And he's like, all right. And then he didn't like push me on. He didn't ask me like what his name was.
No, I'm going to get that clip. I'm actually going to go get that clip and post it because
that's one of my top. You should. That's one of my top. Well, I can't think of a third one, but there was a second one. Do you remember when I interviewed Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg and Nick Frost? You remember that? It was for Source. Well, I barely remember. The only reason why I remember is because there's proof of it. But I did an interview with them at Comic-Con, and they were like, they just flew in from the UK, and they were like fucking exhausted. And Nick Frost is like in his chair, like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey guys, I'm gonna start. And he goes like, and they couldn't believe how much energy I had at like 9 in the morning.
God.
And so
2013 Steve was wild.
right?
Yeah.
And so they were like unbelievable. They couldn't believe how energetic I was. We do like an hour long. What happened?
Oh, nothing. But yeah,
We
but
did.
no,
Wait, we did like an hour long interview, dude. And in the middle of the interview, Nick Frost starts falling asleep. And I don't know if that whole thing exists anymore. Do you think that whole thing exists?
Oh, definitely.
There was like, because we used to put out like short, like 10-minute versions, and then there was like the 40-minute version you could watch. And it's the 40-minute one where you could see Nick Frost like falling asleep. Dude, literally falling asleep. That's
hilarious.
Amazing. I wish I had that clip. Can you find it for me? You gotta find it.
I would definitely find it. Not your worst celebrity encounter.
Definitely not my worst. My worst was telling Sam Raimi I loved Dead Alive. And he's
What's wrong with that?
He's like, well, my friend Peter directed that one. And I'm like, oh yeah, oops, shit.
Oh, he didn't do that one.
He didn't direct it. I was like, I love Dead Alive. You're so good. He's like, well, my friend Peter directed that one. I'm like, oh
yeah,
no.
That was pretty funny. No,
and it's Sam Raimi who fucks up. What's Sam Raimi directed Evil Dead? You big idiot.
And that's obviously something you would know, which is
I should have.
But no, your real most embarrassing one you probably haven't even told. So on the internet, so I won't even really say. But pretty much you were like a teenager, and it's the dude from Tim and Eric.
Oh, Eric, dude. Dude, that was during SourceFed.
No. When he like told you something, and then
no, Brian Posehn.
Brian Posehn. That's who it is.
It was Brian Posehn, because I was a huge Mr. Show fan.
Yeah,
and the Mr. Show was a sketch comedy show with David Cross and Bob Odenkirk and Brian Posehn, and I was at Amoeba Records. And I bumped into Brian Posehn, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm such a big fan, dude!" And they had put out the Mr. Show movie called Ronnie the Ronnie Dobbs story or something like that. I can't remember what it was called, but the movie came out, and there was all this like controversy about the version that came out, and I asked him, I was like, "Dude, what's the deal with the Mr. Show movie, man?" And he's like, he gave me the fucking skinny, dude. He fucking told me everything. That was his fucking fault, man. He told me everything. He told me that the director was like locking them out of the editing room, and like, damn. And he was like, they are like no longer friends with him. And this guy directed all their sketches back in the day, like their filmed sketches. And he told me this juicy shit. And what did you do? At the time, I was a big fan of Ain't It Cool News, which is a movie website. And I remember thinking like, dude, I wish I could work for Ain't It Cool News, or like I could be a movie reviewer, or I could like give movie scoops. And after he told me that, I was like, dude, I gotta tell someone at Ain't It Cool News the story of what's going on with the Mr. Show movie, because I got it straight from the fucking horse's mouth.
Yeah.
I'm like, people need to know this. People should know this. Yeah. And so I wrote out this whole fucking thing, and I sent it to the guy at Ain't It Cool News, and they emailed me back, and they're like, this is good info, dude. We're gonna put this up.
Yeah.
And they fucking said anonymous source says they spoke to Brian Posehn, and they said this is the story. And then I got a fucking email from Brian Posehn, dude. And
How did he fucking find you?
He must have hit up the site and then hit up and said like, who the fuck is your guy? Anyway, Brian Posehn hit me up and was like, this is why I don't talk to fans. And like, you really betrayed what I told you. And I'm like, oh shit, I fucked up so bad. But I learned a big lesson. But I was also like, shouldn't people know this, dude? People should know if they're being like fucked with.
That's honestly in my top 5 favorite Steve stories, not gonna lie, because I know you would never do something like this now.
No way. I learned I did learn a big lesson, but I was like, I had a scoop. For the first time, I had a scoop.
You had a scoop.
And I went to the the Daily Bugle and was like, Mr. Jameson, I got a scoop.
Yeah. And didn't get paid for it.
No, not at all.
Didn't even get credit.
well, and then so I had to email the Ain't It Cool News guy and was like, or maybe I gave Brian Posehn my info, or maybe he gave me his info. I can't remember.
It was a very long time ago.
I could have done this really cool and became friends with Brian Posehn maybe, but I had to email the Ain't It Cool guys and I was like, please redact so much of this and please. I got hit up and they said they were mad at me and oh man, I fucked up so bad. This sounded so like info to share, though. This sounded like info that should be shared.
Well, if to anybody who's been on anything before and had stuff go bad and had people interested, sometimes you will meet a person and then you're like, they seem really trustworthy. He's a teenager. Who are you going to tell? And sometimes you need to blow off steam. And sometimes you meet them and you're like, you know what, Steve Zaragoza and Mike Falzone are actually assholes in real life. And you tell them the whole thing.
Yeah,
you tell them the whole thing. Nah, you know what? Who I actually did do that to was Andre Turba from SourceFed.
Oh yeah, the animated SourceFed animated guy.
I met him. I told him all the drama.
It ruined it for him.
And he was like, I knew none of this. I was like, well, we considered you to be a cast member that was never on it. So I agree.
I agree.
And I was like, I might as well tell you everything.
And you don't want to know this shit, man. Just enjoy the shit that made you happy. You don't want to know.
I was like,
if
you want me to stop, I'll stop.
But you know what's interesting, Will? One perspective about the Brian Posehn thing that I want to say is, there's one part of me that's like, if shit went down and you were really upset about it and you couldn't yourself go out and say, this is what's going on, because people will be like, where's the other side of the story, bro? Or like, yeah, right. Well, this doesn't sound real or whatever. I would love for someone to come out and be like, this is what I heard from the horse's mouth. Just to get that information out there, because how else would it get out there? And I don't know. It makes them look better that they didn't have anything.
More of a celebrity. It makes it more of a celebrity. If there's anonymous sources talking about what you say, but no,
yeah, then it's important. Yeah.
The lesson is don't tell people. But I think that honestly, sometimes you need to
that's what I'm saying. That information should be out there.
And during the days, there were probably somebody. Honestly, during SourceFed and Good Mythical, I don't think I ever told a person on. Probably because you told me that story, and I was like, "Don't do something like that." It was
a cautionary tale, yeah.
But like, there's the urge to when someone comes up to you and it's like, "Oh, what do you think about this person?" And I'm beefing with that person, and you're like, "Who do they know?" You really don't want to tell them. You really want to tell them. Yeah. Why not?
And a lot of times the person telling you that shit has already told like 8 other people.
Yeah.
And so they're just like, they just want the story out there.
Yeah. But no, huge lesson to him. Like, don't tell.
Yeah, don't say
teenager
shit.
at the comic book store, at the record spot, or you at the
Amoeba,
movie rental.
Yeah, it was Amoeba Records. It was the record shop.
You're at Amoeba Records. Like, he's probably a super fan. But in today, that kid is going to go on Reddit. Come on. Why would I not go on Reddit?
Yeah.
Why would I not go on Reddit? I just met Kendrick Lamar, and he just told me the next diss track is dropping next Tuesday. I'm losing it.
I just heard that Black Eyed Peas are making a new song.
They're about to remix. You highly devalue yourself when you're young. You're like, oh, I don't matter at all. What I have to say doesn't matter. I couldn't possibly make a splash in the universe.
Right.
But now on Reddit, you obviously can. You can just go on there.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you can also say whatever you want.
Yeah.
And be like, well, I heard this. Well, I heard that. And it doesn't have to be true.
People aren't going to believe you, though.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell what's real anymore.
It is hard to tell what's real.
Like, my friend is cousins with Sam Basher, and he told me Maude Garrett is a secret Russian spy.
The accent. She's actually American.
She's American.
When they cut off she just talks like this. She's like the Theranos chick.
All right, let's wrap this up, Will, because I'm tired. I don't feel good. What do you want to do? You want to plug anything? What are you working on, man?
Oh yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel, William Haynes TV, where I'm posting lots of great videos.
Yeah, you're just making cool long form videos. I like your living room setup, your plants.
Thank you. They're dying right now, but
that's all right. Hey, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet, ain't it right?
You got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. You do. I'm gonna look at it like that. Thank you, man.
And we gotta wait.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, of course.
Don't fuck up the omelet. Don't fuck up the omelet.
But Will, we got to work on some stuff. We've been talking about stuff. We might be kicking the dirt a little bit.
Some people you got to be friends with and not work with them because you don't want to ruin your great loving relationship that you have.
I agree, but there was a time when we made some pretty cool shit.
You're really cool with my worst enemy, Mike Falzone. So.
Worst enemy.
I honestly can't get on camera without talking about Mike. I don't know what it is.
I think it's because he's the one that got away for you. It's like the girl that like you get all these other girls and all these other girls think you're cute and funny, but this one girl's like, I don't like your shit. I don't think you're funny and I don't like you. And you're like, oh, I want that one to like me so bad.
Yeah. And a lot of people are really easy to get a reaction from. If I feel like I can get a reaction out of somebody easily, I'm not going to go for it. But Mike is hard to get a reaction out of.
Mike just doesn't take shit from anybody.
He doesn't.
The second you give him shit, he's like, not worth my time.
Yeah, and it's like, I can't help it. But
he just figured out what to do with his time in a way that no one else has or does.
Yeah,
and you got to respect that if you want to be in his life.
I'm gonna keep poking him though. I can't stop. I can't help it. But no, this
until you get him in the ring.
I'm gonna get him in the ring. His fucking 45-year-old ass.
Are you still fighting things? You still got your 12-pack of abs and you're working out?
I haven't lifted weights in 2 weeks. I've never done that. You have to crack an egg to make an omelet.
That's right. Yes, exactly, Will. Exactly. That's a good way to look at it.
So yeah, but I'm still trying. So I'm about to come back. We're gonna do something great soon.
Please come back, Will, because I miss doing weird shit with you. Snap out of this muscle boy shit and get back to being a weirdo with me. Again. Get depressed and get fun and do weird shit with me again. Let's do chip reviews again like we used to.
I had so much money when I was depressed and sad, man.
Let's go on a road trip to find Katie Wayne. And let's just bombard. Let's just like paparazzi find her coming out of
a great idea for video. I'm gonna pitch that to Jonathan when I get upstairs.
Where is Katie Wayne? And we do we go to find her, and we try to make it so that she's coming out of a restaurant. Katie Wayne, we've had it. Katie Wayne, and she's just like she had no idea.
That is actually a brilliant idea for a video. We're actually gonna have to talk about this later.
Okay, buddy. Well, I love you very much. I'm proud of you. Keep working, and let's talk. Let's talk soon.
All right. Love you, man. See you soon.
You, dude. Take care, my friend.